Hi, I'm Sandy Babb. Welcome to my studio. This is another segment of the hashtag Just Junk Journal Challenge hosted by Dear Julie here on YouTube. And in this segment, we're going to talk about signatures. I've done some sewing and some signature prep. I want to talk about how I'm going to bind this. Sunday afternoon I had some time to do some sewing. I thought I'd show you where I got to. I hope you had time to look at Roxy Creations, the envelope tutorial link that I left, because I just love this. I only had 2 envelopes, but I'm trying to save some more now because this is probably one of my favorite things. And right now, this is all I've done to it. I stitched around the edge and just covered it with torn up brown paper and made my little flip notebook. And that's all I've done to this one. The other one, you might remember, one of them had a bird on it. It was on, let's see, was it this one? No, it was actually this one. You might remember that one side had a tree and a bird, if you saw a previous. I had a sewing accident, and so it messed up the page. You can almost see some of the stitches through my brown paper, but I had to end up tearing off the notebook that was on there, collaging over this, doing some hidden collaging on the inside to fix it. So the bird and tree are gone, but it's okay. But I'm okay with that. So I've got 2 of those because I'm planning on starting on working on just 2 signatures right now. And this may expand into more. So just a little stitching across the ends here. And I'm going to cut off all these threads. I just really haven't had time. So those are those 2. I worked on some of my magazine pages. And this is just one page that I folded upright, and I've got clipped in things I need to attach. And this is just a piece of that brown paper, and I'll just use a simple zigzag stitch around it. And probably this will be a pocket. You know, I just need to attach it here with some glue or tape or whatever I'm using. This one, I think, let's see, there's text under this one. This had a blank spot down here, so I thought that's a good place for a pocket. So I'm going to put a pocket on here. This one had a blank space. That's just perfect for journaling right there. Just nothing needs to be done. This one, I have no objection, but I ended up having to use some pages with people on them. I really only wanted nature images, but they are people in nature, so I just wanted to cover that up. So I thought this pocket went well. This is a piece of the calendar. And probably these will just be pockets, you know, that I can tuck things in. So that's got to be attached. And then the back, so far, I'm leaving plain. And if I cover anything, it'll be this bottom part. I don't have anything reserved for that. This little magazine page, this image I cut... just cut the page down. I really liked the whole thing of daisies on here, but I didn't like, and I love the trees, but I didn't like all the text. So again, I did another piece of brown paper, but this one probably will be more of a notebook style, so I've got that reserved aside. And basically I used 2 stitches. I may have used one other decorative stitch. I think all I used on these were a simple, with my sewing machine, a simple zigzag stitch and a simple straight stitch, because most people's sewing machines do those 2 stitches in case you don't have a machine that has a lot of, you know, selection. This one, I liked the picture on the back on one page. I liked the picture on the back of another page. So what I did is cut those down. I turned the top edge under about 1/4 of an inch and glued it down on both sides. Then I stitched it into a pocket, and so this will be a page, but it will be also to hold more ephemera and stuff like that. This is one of the bags that I did the other day. I'll talk to you about all this little flaky stuff in a minute. Oh, that was terrible. This is one of the bags that I had the cereal bag that I had ironed clothes, I just went across it with the zigzag stitch to give it some color or character or something rather than just plastic. So, and you know, I should have zoomed in a little bit, shouldn't I? I'll come in a little bit. So that's a pocket bag. These are the pages that we had done, that I had shown you how to iron and paint on. And they're kind of wrinkly because they get air pockets. When you stitch them, the air pockets tend to settle down because the air can go out those little holes, and it kind of flattens your page back out. So around my journaling, straight stitching. Around the back of this image, zigzag stitching. On the other side, you can see that here are my images. I did a combination of zigzag and straight. Now, let me give you a little tip on this. When you're sewing, if the plastic side is down toward your feed dogs, where your bobbin is, it's really slippery. You might want to do a test on a piece of your paper to make sure your feed dogs don't bite into your paint. Mine did not. I found that it actually sews better if it's got something to grip on if you put the paint side down and stitch around this with your paint side down. Now on this one, obviously I had to stitch just around the plastic because that's all, you know, that was there. There was no paint. But if you do have any of the paint, it did get a little scratch there on the edge, or sometimes you might get one little mark. I'm okay with that. You know, I'm perfectly okay with that. So I did that on all of these. You can see that, and I've got to go back and cut all these strings off. I just did decorative stitching so that it kind of gives a little life to the page to have that stitching. I do wish that was straight. But okay, now let me give you a tip on these. These are the grocery bags, the plastic grocery bags that we ironed and fused, and then we painted. I've only ever used these in mixed media projects, and I had never sewn this in a machine before. Okay, I had hand stitched on it and glued to it, but I had never sewn it. Well, let me tell you, it looks like my sewing machine has dandruff, because everywhere the feed dogs touched this and the needle went through, it started leaving little flakes of paint everywhere. I got down one side of one of these bigger ones and it was terrible. I'm still dusting little flakes of paint off of everything. So I had to stop, use canned air on my machine, clean out my bobbin setting. I took these over back to my craft table and I coated both sides of these with a matte gel medium. Now, do not use Mod Podge on this, because it has a, I'm going to show you in another project we're going to do why I don't use Mod Podge. That has a plasticity and a sheen to it that literally makes it stick to itself. And you're going to go in your journal one day and wonder why your pages are stuck and ripped. So don't use that. Use a matte, like, it doesn't have to be Liquitex brand. It can be Liquitex, it can be Golden. Don't use the Simple brand or Simply brand at Walmart, because it's also like Mod Podge and it's plasticky. I would recommend a better brand for your matte medium on this. I really would. Okay, so after I sealed it on both sides, went back to the machine, and had no issues after that. So you don't want paint dandruff in your sewing machine. So that's a tip. So this is ready. I'm not actually going to embellish these pages because I'm going to use these as a canvas, and I'll probably be adding a little bit of clear gesso on here, and I'm going to do some painting on these pages. These are going to be painted pages, so I'm not doing anything to those. Okay, for my other book pages, I did use the original book. I took a piece of masking tape, added it here to re-strengthen the spine, and whether it's crooked, straight, whatever, I don't care. And then I just cut the book down to be the size of my pages. And I'm not going to do anything to these. These are for me to work on later, whether I want to add paint or collage or whatever. And I'm setting this book up where I can remove each page individually to work on it and then put it back for safekeeping. So I've got 4 of those in each of my signatures for right now. I have a lot more of these pages set aside, but for right now I'm just, you know, doing 2 signatures. So I've got 4 of those set aside. Then I said I was going to use 4 of these ones with the photo on it. So what I did with them is I had to add the masking tape at the center here. Okay, I figured out the size of my pages and folded this page under with the photo side. I folded this page back. It's shorter, so it'll be a fold out, you know, in the journal. So, you know, fold it over and then fold it back, you know, to meet itself. Then, is this the sewn one? It must be in the other. I've got to sew these. Okay, here it is. Let me pull this one. So here's what I did. This is folded over. Then I took and angled the ends of this on this side. I just went from my fold right past that little corner there. Flip it over and do it again on this side. I can kind of see through it because the light's shining through there. Do it on this side. And then I cut it down to just above this little line here. Kind of took some of that extra off. Really want all that extra on there. I don't know why I'm cutting that folded. I could unfold it. And made a little tuck spot on there. So I'll add a bead of glue here and glue this down after I stitch it. And that leaves me a nice tuck that I'll have on this page. And then I'll have my fold out on here. I still need to add some tape here. Go ahead and do that since I've got this page out. I'll just put a piece down the middle. Line frame, look up. Nip off those edges. Put that tape to the side on my table. I'll use that for tags. And then you just refold it. And you've reinforced that. It's not going to come apart because I will sew this into a book later. But that is my process for this, is to make it into a page here. You know, I don't know what I'm going to do on this. I'm going to leave all these blank for now. But that's what I'll do on those. And I don't even think, other than just the stitching around this area, I'm not going to do any sewing on those. Then I used some of the brown paper, and I showed you in the last video how I did that, and I've got 3 sheets per signature here. Then on this one, of course, I've got that. I've already shown you all the bottom pages, I think. Let's see, let's pull those. I've shown you how I did all these bottom pages. And the painted, giving you the tip on the painted pages. This one again, I just did, this is the graham cracker package, and I'm going to sew it in as a pocket to keep things, so that's just going to stay like that. Here I've done the same thing with just a straight and a zigzag to give me some journaling. Same thing here. Man, I have a lot of thread on that, don't I? I think that's the one I might have run out of a bobbin too. This page, whoops, is another folded magazine page. And it has text on the bottom, and I took one of the pieces of the poem, the paper, and stitched it. And I haven't decided exactly how this is, what this is going to be. Could it be a booklet? Could it be? I just know that I want this as a cover or something, so I've got that there. This one also had text, so I did 2 of those. One was straight stitch, one was zigzag. And then the back, I stitched down this side. This is a piece of the calendar with a little quote on it, and I stitched that down, so it's kind of just a little tuck there. I know there's a name for that, but I forgot what it was. So anyway, that's how you do that. That's how I'm going to do that. And like I said, here's one of the finished off tucks. So there's that. Then this one is another short page, and it just has images on front and back, and then right here it was blank, but it had text here. So I took a piece of my calendar, stitched around it, and that'll turn into another pocket there. And I was just going to show you how I did the one with the 2 pages. See, I had 2 pages. I like the fronts on this. I like the fronts, but I didn't like the backs. So what I did was put them together and trim them to fit each other. Let's see. That. And I trim them to fit. I've got a crooked side over there on that side. I'll get that off of there. Have to cut this one down. It's got a little messed up spot there on the side. So we'll just get rid of that. A little crooked there, Sandy. Not worrying. Not worrying. Okay. So then I kept them together while I did this because I wanted the fold to be even. And I'm just going to fold it down, and then I'll fold the other fold backwards. It's not a big deal. Oops, I guess I could fold on camera, couldn't I? I'm folding them together. So one of these, now let's move them apart. This one I folded down this way. Looks crooked. Is that crooked? Maybe cut crooked. And this one I'm going to fold it back this way to the inside. Let me have a look-see at that. This side's fine because it's just a field. It's this side. Does that look weird when you do it? Nope, it does not. Okay. So then I'm going to take a little bit of my glue, I'm using some tacky glue, and put on that flap. Got my glue. Should have that upside down. And we're going to do a little sewing project next. So I'm going to bring my machine over and I'll do some of the stitching on this to show you what I did. Just going to get that to go down. I have to hold it for a second because it doesn't want to stick. I could have used tape, but, and I don't mind putting the glue on here because the only place you're really going to get glue on your needle is on that right there, on that little section. And then I'm just going to zigzag it together, fold it in half, and I've got a pocket. A pocket page, I guess you could say. A pocket page. So we're going to fold that down. And I'm not going to bore you with me. You know, if I do something fun to the pages, I'll come in from time to time throughout the year. I thought I could come in and just do a craft with me video if I'm doing something fun or a fun technique or something. And, but as far as, you know, like, this is going to be more of what Julie refers to as a naked journal. So now I'm going to take this to my sewing machine. I'm going to use my paper clip to hold it. Hold it together, and that'll be ready for the sewing machine. I've got, okay, that one's sewn, that one's sewn. So 2 that are not. I have 2 that need stitching. Let's see if we can find those. Here they are. I'll go ahead and stitch those real quick while I have the sewing machine over here. Now, and another thing I did go ahead and sew is in our plastic tutorial where we were using all the cereal bags, I had fused together some little clear bags. I did just to make it cute. These will probably be floating bags, you know, that I'll use the paper clips to, wherever my clips are. I made 4 because I have 4 paper clips. These will be just clipped somewhere to a page like this. Okay, those will be clipped on a page using my paper clips. Shouldn't have put it on there without something in there. Let me bend that apart because I don't want to tear my bag. but I just zigzagged around the edges of all these pockets. And like I said, I have some work to do because I still have a lot of, this was the Ritz cracker one, the Ritz cracker bag. So, and I keep forgetting to say that I did set up a playlist for this series, and it is hashtag Just Junk Journal challenge. So there is a playlist that all these videos, you can find each part from the introduction all the way through without having to search the feed for them. So let me put that aside, my little sewing aside, and let's look at how I'm actually going to string the pages up. And I'm trying to see with my box in here, I'm thinking I can only do 3. So the way you do this is you're going to need a tail, okay? And I'm going to start on the outside of my, this is just a twine binding. I'm going to start on the outside and hold my tail here with my thumb. I want this to be taut. I'm going to wrap it all the way around. Do I need to go back out? Yeah. Wrapping it all the way, and this is 3-ply hemp cord. It's really strong. So that's going to be one wrap. I'm going to do 3 on each side. I'm going to keep that taut. It's going to be 2 wraps. Go around 3 times. That is 2. Sorry, this is so weird, but I have to get it all the way around that other flap. So it's a little funky. Okay, that is 3. I've got 3 strings here, and there goes my glue behind my table. Oh, you don't have no idea how hard that is to get out. Okay, I'm going to push these a little closer to the front. I'm going to let them loosen so I can push them, and then I'll tighten them back up, because I've got that box back there, so I don't want everything, I don't want things to, let me get them where I want them, and then I'll tighten them back up. Okay. Move that one a little bit. Move this one a little bit. Okay. I got you now. I got you. Let's pull both ends to make sure it's tight. I'm going to bring this string up again. And I'm going to cut it off up here so I have a tail. Now, I'm taking these 2 strings, making sure everything is taut. I'm going to cross them, okay, right over left. Just cross my strings and switch hands so that they're like this, okay? And I'm taking my right string, I'm going to take my left index finger, go under those. I'm going to tuck that right tail through there. And you have to kind of hold this tight. It is a little bit of a beast, I'm just going to tell you. And I'm going to tie this kind of decoratively about right here. You want to keep it taut and tight. If you need an extra person, say, you know, hold down on my knot right there and keep it taut and tight until you can tie it down. Now, I'm going to do that again. And I'm going to leave these because I might do something decorative with them. Okay, and I'm going to repeat that on the other side. And on the inside, you say, oh, I did 4. Oh, I can't count, can I? Well, I'm doing 4, people, not 3. There are 4. You can see 4 strings there. I brought my sewing machine over, and you can't really, the way my camera mount is, without me unmounting it, putting it on the tripod, then taking it off the tripod and remounting it, it's just a lot of hassle. So I hope y'all won't mind if I just sew like this, and I'll show it to you after I do it, okay? I hope you won't mind. I wanted to give you one more tip on sewing these plastics. When you sew on these, if your machine has a setting, like mine has a little thing on the front, it has a slow setting, a medium setting, and a high setting. You want to sew these on a low to medium setting. The high setting makes the feed dogs is going to go faster, and you're going to have more chance of this either ripping or gripping your plastic in an ungainly fashion, and it might chew and eat your plastic. So that's another tip. When you're going to sew on this plastic, sew it on a low or medium speed, or just don't have a heavy foot on your pedal. you know, just make it be a very moderate speed so you don't rip or grip this plastic and ruin it. Okay, so here is the little piece that I tucked under a while ago, did the tuck under. I've got my paper clip on it. I already have my machine set on a zigzag stitch. If anybody cares, I have an old sewing machine. It is a Brother BC 1000. So I want to make sure this is lined up. I'm just going to put it in my machine, put my needle down. See, this is where I kind of feel like I need to let you see, but I don't know how to do that unless I tip my machine. Try to sew with my machine tipped. I'm going to do a couple stitches. I'm going to back stitch, and then I'm just going to sew. I've got my machine set on medium. See, this is about how fast you should sew. Now, if you're paper sewing, I would recommend a 16 or a 20 needle, sewing needle that goes in your machine. If you're doing, now this was on plastic, okay? And this is a heavy paper. If you're sewing on something like, this is heavy, this is a heavy magazine paper. This is real thick, good, almost like photo paper, you know, quality. If you're sewing on that, I don't think that you need to adjust your stitch length. Now, if you're going to use something like book pages or a more delicate paper that's a thinner paper, and especially if it's vintage, if you haven't covered it with some matte medium or something first, I do suggest that you lengthen your stitches. The less holes you have in it, the better. All of these are really, this is very thick paper here, very thick. So I did not adjust my stitch length. So that is really the only thing I adjust on here is according to what type of paper I'm sewing, you know, and you might want to reserve your, you know, maybe take a little nail polish or something, and on the head of your sewing needle, maybe mark it in some way, and keep those needles, your paper sewing, from your fabric sewing needles, because this will dull your needle like crazy. So I don't mind having just a normal pattern stitch length here on this. But now if I was doing something, I was making sure that was together. If I was doing something that was, like I said, on more delicate, like a vintage ledger paper or something like that, and even probably if I had coated it with some matte medium or something, I probably would still lengthen the stitch on thinner paper. That's just my rule of thumb, because you don't want it to perforate the paper in such a way that all you're doing is making it where it just tears off. Okay, so I've just stitched around this. I should have cut all the threads as I was working, but I was sewing so fast I was like, I got a few little, you know, little block of time to sew. And so then I'm just going to take this, let's see, which way do I want this? I think I want that to be, because that I might even put as a center page. I think I want that one folded together and this one on the outside. And I'm just going to fold it. Make sure I've creased it well. And now I have a pocket page to add to my journal. This can be just sewn right in, and I've got a pocket on each side. And the reason I went ahead and did this little 1/4 inch thing here with the glue is because as you're pulling things in and out, it's always a good idea to reinforce that top. Now I could have stitched across this before I sewn it together, but I just thought, nah, I'm okay with it just being like that. Okay? I'm not going to stitch around these while you're here, I don't think. I think I can do that when I'm off camera. Okay, took a few minutes to finish stitching on the 2 pages that needed stitching, got all the strings off, and went ahead and did the no-sew twine binding on both sides. So we're ready to put signatures in. Now you can bind any journal with this no-sew method. Very easy to do. The only thing I'm not going to put in here at the moment, I think I'm just going to stick these inside my box. These are my little plastic bags just so I don't lose them. I've got some tag supplies and stuff in here. I'm going to put them in there with my binding twine and just sit that out of the way. So let's put the signatures in here. I've separated everything into 2 piles. And like I said, I've got 4 places on each side to put those. So I just need to separate them out however, you know, I want the book to look right now. And since I've got 4 of these, I'll do 4 of these. I wish I do have some more of this brown paper. I'll probably go back and cut an extra piece of the brown paper, maybe. I don't know. Well, no, you know, I think I won't, because one of these, I'll do a piece of brown paper with each. Since I have the brown envelope, why don't I do that? And let that stand in for one. You know, I didn't even see it, that envelope. Oh, what a crazy person. Y'all, this envelope's too tall. I'm going to have to redo it and chop it off. Didn't even occur to me. What an idiot. Okay, I'll have to pull these books off the front, cut this bottom off, and then put the book back on. Sheesh, that didn't even occur to me. It really didn't. And I'll do one of these tuck pages. And where's the other tuck page? Another tuck page. I'll do maybe a large magazine page with this one. I hope I even cut this down. I was like, I didn't even measure these. That's crazy. I'll have to cut this down too. I just got in such a hurry realizing this challenge is going to be over in 8 days. I need to hurry. So this is what happens when you get in a hurry. I'll do a small magazine with each one of these. Let's see. I'll do one of these, one of these. You just kind of, however you want to do it, really. I'll do it like that, okay? The only thing is, I do need to measure this. I can cut this one down right now, but I'm like, ugh, how nuts that I didn't even think of that. Take my cards off. I'll just cut the bottom off real quick. Wow. Okay, so see, real mistakes happen when you're doing this. I just was thinking the whole time how cool that envelope thing was. Now I'm wondering if I need to try to do 2 different envelopes and just keep those. I'm just simply nipping that off a little bit. And I'll put my stitch cards back in here. I'm not attaching these right now. This is for when I come back and work on the journal. But I'm just going to clip them in here so I know where they go. These are not actually parts of the... I wonder if I should use my real... I should use the real paper clips, shouldn't I, that she said we could use instead of these. Let's do that. Okay. That way I'm not busted for cheating. That paper clip is supposed to be in there, okay? These silver ones, not so much. And I only have a couple in there anyway, so it's not a big deal. Okay, so that one, it will now fit. I'll have to reserve the one. Everything else is to size. Oh, man. Okay, do I have anything else that has it? Yes. I knew I had at least one more that had a silver paper clip. I'll get rid of that. I was hoping to decorate these paper clips. We'll see if we have time. Like I said, 8 days for the challenge. I was going to do 2 journals. Not making it, huh? Okay, so I think I'll do this one on the outside because I think it's pretty. And give it a tan inside. And give it a cream small piece. These I'm not, since you're, you know, I can move these around in the journal. Don't want cream and cream. Cream and cream and cream. So I just want to line those up, and this is going to be one little signature that I'll slip all of these. I'm going to start here at the back and slip these under. Slip these pages under. Come on. I may have to do them one at a time. Maybe that might be a better idea. But we're going to fill our book, and you can bind any book with this binding if you don't want to sew, or if you want something that's more, you know, like I said, more temporary, where you can come and do, you know, different things. But let's go ahead and get our signatures in here. And I was trying to think if there was anything else I needed to do on this today. We could go ahead and do, maybe if I go against that, might be better. We could go ahead and start doing our cover, but I love to do the cover last. Got a couple of embellishment tutorials coming up. I got one tape today, and I just tore my page. I need to stand up. I think that's part of the problem with sitting down. I can't maneuver very well. There we go. Like I said, this meets the requirement of Julie's. Mine's going to be a semi-neck, and I am going to do a few embellishments. And if I have time, I'll do a page with you before I've already got two special things to include in this book. I keep going the wrong way. I guess I need to go away from that box. That's the problem. I'm trying to go toward that box thing in the middle. That box is a little bit of a problem, but I want it anyways. So, you know, if you want it, you're going to have to deal with it. Okay, and one more. And then I'll go on to the next little section, and we will continue to fill this out. But I wanted to get one section done so you see what I'm doing. I'm trying to get everything on the fold. Clip these back on there since I've wallowed everything. Okay, not nurse. Okay, is that on the fold? Everything on the fold? Yeah, there we go. See, and then when the book is closed, this is going to lay like this. One whole side in there, okay? And I still need to put the other side in there. So I'm going to pause, organize the other side, get it put in, and then I'll be right back. Okay, I got it done. I got all the pages in here. It is a chunky journal. Yeah, I may have to rethink my secret box. I seriously may have to take the box out and slide things back, because I don't know that I can add anything to these pages because this is so full. But everything is in there except for these two, since dimwit me didn't measure. I'm going to pull these off the fronts, repair them, cut them down, put them back in the book, okay? But when you open it, it just opens like this. There are signatures on both sides. This is the flip out. You've got all your pages, little pocket. And everything is in here, another pocket, ready to work. Tuck, more blank pages. These are I'm going to use for painting on. A little envelope to put things in. Just another flip. Let's see which way is that flip. That flips that way. I might need to cut that one down just slightly. It seems like it's sticking in the seam. But you can see that I have all my pages in here now. Just exactly on both sides. All those pages that we made are in here. I just have a few things, like I said, paper clip to attach. And that's the journal thus far. So we are just about ready for the cover. I'm going to come back in the next video. We are going to make some iridescent envelopes for our journal, and I'm going to think about this box. I may seriously have to take that box out to scoop my signatures back, and maybe I'll just leave it in here, but I'm thinking that I'm going to have to revise the box because it's just not, by the time I get the closure and everything, I have no room for expansion on this thing. I could always just store the box with it, tie them together with a pretty ribbon, and that way all my little things that I'm collecting to go in the book would always be there. You know, I wish it could be different, but I just hate giving up that real estate. So we'll see. I'll be back with another tutorial. Thanks for joining me.